You're listening to Crosstalk, Conversations with Kurtis. Crosstalk, Conversations with Kurtis is brought to you by
Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. With a stellar reputation as an outstanding mortgage lender, Ray Cruz serves the lending needs of real estate professionals, builders, and individual homebuyers in Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Ray believes that integrity is the cornerstone of his business, and helping you achieve your home financing goals is his business. Located in the heart of Bethesda, Maryland, contact Ray P. Cruz today to get started. Your home mortgage or refinance options await. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgages intelligently.
For more than 20 years, I have seen Gene the Barber for my haircuts. I am proud to say that Gene the Barber is now the owner of a new shop, his own shop, Max Life Barber and Salon. Max Life is family friendly with barbers and stylists for men, women, and children. Located at 6859 New Hampshire Avenue in Tacoma Park, Maryland, Max Life Barber and Salon is now the new home of Gene the Barber. Of course, you'll get Gene's signature service, but now Gene has several barbers to choose from. Schedule an appointment today by calling 240-687-7253.
A Squared Home and Office Solutions is the go-to source for home or office network and audio-visual solutions. We can help with smart home integration, wireless networking, media rooms, security systems, and more. We will link technology to your lifestyle seamlessly. Read our reviews online. Visit homeandofficesolutions.com for more info or call 240-356-8832. A Squared Home and Office Solutions. We are home advisor screened and approved.
You're listening to Crosstalk, Conversations with Kurtis. Here's your host, Kurtis Cross.
Welcome to Conversations with Kurtis. I am your host, Kurtis Cross, and as always, I'm excited to be here with you today. Today, we're going to get into a great conversation, but first, I want to thank our sponsors, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, Gene the Barber, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, and of course, Dynamic DJ Entertainment. Be sure to connect with me socially at Kurtis Talks on Instagram and Twitter, and of course, at www.kurtistalks.com, because I do talk. Also, take a listen to our other podcast, Crosstalk, the Kurtis and Paula Show, a lifestyle, love, marriage, and parenthood podcast. You'll hear all about the day-to-day life of me and Paula. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill, a local and national sports podcast hosted by me, along with coaches Steve Turner and, of course, my man, Casey O'Neill. The Midnight Truck Stop and 911 Radio, both of those podcasts are hosted by Big T and the Blue Knight. You'll hear stories from truckers, 911 calls, law enforcement officers, and a host of interesting and delightful guests. All these podcasts can be found on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcast content. Once again, thank you for listening to Crosstalk Conversations with Kurtis. I enjoy bringing you these episodes. Welcome to today's conversation. Today, I'd like to welcome to the conversation a gentleman I've known for a number of years. We first met in the service industry as I was a DJ for a local restaurant, bar, turned nightclub at night right here in Rockville, Maryland. Peter Nguyen was at the time working security, and I guess we will tell the rest of the story right here during the podcast. So let's welcome to the table, Peter Nguyen. Pete, how's it going, fella?
Good. How are you doing?
You see that applause you get, Pete? You're getting applause, Pete.
But I told you, you should have gotten the ha-ha.
You need the DJ Ecstasy ha-ha. Is that what you need?
Yeah. DJ Ecstasy in the mix.
That would be me. Look, Pete, we've known each other for, I'm guessing, the better part of 20 years. It really has been that long. We first met at Orange Ball, and if you know any of the DNA of the Montgomery County nightlife, you can't discuss MoCo, as we call it, without Orange Ball. Friday Night Live and all of our work taking center stage. You know, they don't make nightlife in MoCo like that anymore, do they, Pete?
Not at all. It's definitely different. It's not like a dance place or like a DJ place that you can go to and like just have fun and dance, and
meet wonderful people like you.
Absolutely.
So if we're going to talk about that real quick, we're talking Pete, we're talking Joey, we're talking Taz, we're talking Kat. We're talking Siobhan. We're talking Marlene. Marlene just had a baby, or is about to, isn't she? Another baby?
She's about to have a baby, yeah.
Yes, she is. And we have to talk about, why can I not say his name? Same birthday as Paula. He just got married not too long ago. Eddie, yes. We got to bring Eddie into the mix. That whole Orange Ball crew, it was a family. You know, I'd been a part of nightclubs for, you know, since I was 14, 15 years old, from Georgetown to Miami to New York. But there was something different about Orange Ball. And I'm going to tell you, two things we had at Orange Ball that I never had anywhere else. We had someone named Cheng, and we had someone named Rob. And that's the fabric of Orange Ball, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. They were definitely the glue, kept it running.
They damn sure were. And I never had a boss like Rob before, and I never had an owner like Cheng before, because if you put the idea in front of Cheng was going to give it some thought, whereas a lot of nightclub owners, they're simply looking at bottom line. If they didn't come up with the idea, it doesn't work. But so tell our audience about your path through Orange Ball. It began in security, elevated into the head of security, but then you chose to stay in the building, but in a different role. Talk to me about that, Pete.
So after, you know, a certain time being head of security, Rob had approached me one time and was like, well, we need a male bartender, because at the time we had a bunch of female bartenders, which is like, right, you know, everyone likes that. But I guess like two of the male bartenders were leaving, or somebody, I think Eric was leaving. And they needed to bring up, they didn't want to hire anyone from the outside. So Rob like just came up and asked me one day, hey, are you interested in bartending? And I was like, hell yeah. Like, I was definitely interested, because I didn't want to like start out, you know, as a server. I was a head security. I was like, you know, already like doing stuff. But then like, he was like, well, you know, you can train to be a bartender, but you gotta, you know, do all the steps that a server would do.
Right.
So I did it, you know, and here we are today.
Became damn good at it too. Pete, I never knew. What did you do outside of Orange Ball? What was your work?
I was an IT engineer after I graduated college.
Okay. Now, are you full-time bartending now, or are you still doing the IT thing?
I am a full-time bar manager and bartender.
Okay. Money's a little bit different on the bartending side versus security side, ain't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So along with the nightlife comes a lifestyle, long shifts, late nights, the camaraderie that comes along with the bar and nightclub life. How did that travel for you? You and I have spent plenty of nights in the office till 3, 4 in the morning, not getting any sleep before our next shift. How did that weigh on you?
Let's not lie. Sometimes it was 5, 6.
Okay. Well, let me tell you something. When I counted out some drawers at Orange Ball and had the cash deposit, put it in the safe, I was taking my time so I could hit McDonald's by like 5 or 6 when breakfast started.
Breakfast.
So
all of us are trying to get breakfast.
My spot was McDonald's, the sausage McMuffin with egg, but I know IHOP was popular, Silver Diner was popular. And so we had that nightlife. But now at some point we age a little bit. And is that still part of your DNA?
Yeah, like it's a blessing and a curse, because that the nightlife DNA like instills like a certain kind of work ethic on you. You know, something that you won't be able to learn working a desk job, you know, a 9-to-5 job. You know what I mean? You know, but it's a curse in that like my biological clock is off.
So you can't go back to 9-to-5, huh?
No, and like, even when I get home at a good time, like I don't get tired until like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like
right? No. That's absolutely. I still to this day, you know, I'm up 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Paul is asleep, kids are asleep, but I'm up, you know, because that's just, you know, again, I've done this for 35 years. I started when I was 13. I'll be 49 next month, but you know, that's just part of me, whether it be Trax nightclub in DC or Jaleesa's or Z Club, Spy Club, the Ritz, whatever. It's always been a part of me to my night doesn't get started till 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, absolutely. That's when our prime time is, man.
That's when the prime time is. You don't
want
no Monday.
We get the most work done. That's when I get the most work done.
And you don't want no Monday or Tuesday shifts. You want Thursday through Sunday shifts, right?
Well, yeah. Right now I'm on like Friday and Saturday, and then I got Wednesday,
Well, they put the primetime guys on the primetime shift, Pete.
Yeah. And then Monday and Tuesday, I just do managerial stuff.
Okay. So you got to get back there and do some paperwork, Pete?
I got to do paperwork.
All right.
Got to do paperwork and inventory and all that.
So Orange Ball closes. Pete's not done, though, in the nightlife. There's more fuel in the tank. That takes you to your next spot. Where was your next spot?
My next spot was kind of odd because after Orange Ball was done, I was still doing IT work. So I was just looking for part-time, and I wanted to continue to bartend. Maybe because I was restless or whatever. I always had to keep myself busy, and I think the first spot I landed was Normandy Farm.
Normandy Farm. I've done some weddings there.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that. Yes.
So I landed in Normandy Farm, and I was working at Normandy Farm. Yeah, that was a learning experience because I had just came from a sports bar / like nightclub type of style of bartending,
right?
And then going to like a fine dining restaurant type of bartending. But within those like 3 or 4 months that I worked there, I learned a whole lot about like just being a bartender from a basic standpoint.
Okay.
Going back to the basics and learning the basics.
Right.
I'm not saying that Orange Ball didn't teach me that, but like bartending at a fine dining restaurant, there's a certain type of service that you have to give, and you just go back to the basics of services, and the way you cut fruit was even examined.
Wow. Okay.
I remember,
so we're talking different.
I got reamed out for cutting fruit a certain way. So, and I took it. I'm the new guy there. So, but then after Normandy Farm, that was like a really good learning experience. Didn't make the money that I wanted to, but it was a great learning experience. That's more valuable to me than the money over there.
Okay, good. So now that sets you up then, right?
Yeah, that set me up for like multiple moves. I worked at like a Red Rock Cafe after that, which is funny thing is it was like a sister bar, a karaoke bar that the original Orange Ball owners helped open.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you went inside there, like everything in there like was similar to Orange Ball.
Okay.
But it was just smaller. It was off of Muddy Branch. It's not there anymore. And then I went up to downtown Frederick to work at Isabella's.
Okay.
That was a tapas restaurant. And then after that, I came back down to Rockville where I belong and worked at Sushi Damo.
Sushi Damo. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're managing now, and I think Quincy's is what we're talking about now, right?
Yeah, Quincy's is now, and that's like maybe 3 or 4 more restaurants later. Because I was working at Blackfin, Taste Gastropub, Indigo House.
That's where I saw you, Blackfin. I did see you at Blackfin. You know what? For Chrissy's birthday. It was Chrissy's birthday years ago. Yep. That's what it was. Okay. So it was Blackfin where I saw you, but it must have been your birthday. You put out something on Facebook or something that talked about you're celebrating your birthday, but you were behind the bar at Blackfin. And I think that's when.
That was probably one of those nights too.
Okay. Yeah.
I hardly remember that night, but yeah, I was there. I was there in body, but not in spirit.
Talk about nights. We closed down Orange Ball properly. Now, not everyone knows about it, but we did have a last hurrah at Orange Ball quite nicely, didn't we?
That was proper.
And part of the reason why Orange Ball closed, I'm not going to drag anyone through the mud, but DLC gave us a hard time. And you have seen in recent years that a lot of those guys at DLC got taken down for taking money under the table. Have you seen these stories?
I have not read those stories. I've heard things around the neighborhood, like
they might be true.
You always hear things, in the restaurant business.
Right.
But they definitely gave us a hard time. And it didn't make anyone's life easier. It didn't make our lives easier. I don't think it made their lives easier. That's my dog Bricks.
All right, Bricks getting in on the action.
Yeah, he's trying to get in on it. We're not going to get into details how we, got involved in it, but I think it was like messed up on the
Absolutely.
DLC. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're bringing revenue into the county. We're paying taxes into the county. And, with any sort of nightlife, you're going to have, 10% of the time, there's going to be something you don't want to deal with. But the revenue and the overall positives are a lot better. But you know what? That's the DLC. Most of those folks aren't over there anymore because I've read the stories. And they've done some things that their services were to be used elsewhere now. They're no longer with the DLC. So now we're doing Quincy's. I see a lot of promotion that you're doing. I didn't know you elevated to being manager over there at Quincy's. So, not to script here, this takes you in a different place. So you're bartending, you're making the bartending money, you're making people happy, you're developing relationships at Quincy's, but you also have to take those glasses off, put on a new set of glasses, and look through a different set of lenses as a manager. Is that correct?
Yeah, those manager lenses stay on me regardless if I'm bartending or not. Okay. So that's just the nature of the beast. Like, someone has to be there to uphold the law, I want to say.
Right. And what does that look like for you, though? So what's the major difference when you stepped into that managerial role? What did you have to you had to establish a new column? There were new things you were looking at. There were new programs you were looking at. There were ways that you can incentivize your staff. There are ways that you need to get people through the door. What hat do you have to put on now to become that manager?
Well, the thing is, I became manager after COVID, or after COVID led up for us to open the bars again. Okay. And that was in like March, April, something like that, April of this year. And the issue with that was with staffing. So we had to be more diligent in staffing. We had to find the right people. Sometimes you find people, but they're not right. There's a certain mix, especially with Orange Ball. We all had to get along, and it's tough to work at a place where you don't get along with everybody. And the blessing at Orange Ball was everybody got along. We might have bickered every now and then, but we bickered like brother and sister. You know what I mean? Like, we don't hold grudges with each other, and we kind of settled it at the end of the night. So with Quincy's, it's the same dynamic. Like, I've been there for almost 6 years now. So everyone there gets along. We're all friends. If we had the time, we would hang out with each other outside of work, but most of us work when the other person's not working, so it's hard for us to hang out. Right. But when we do, it's always a good time, And I think it's like the friends and family dynamic and everyone getting along, which makes it successful. And sometimes it's hard to find the right people, especially after COVID. A lot of people weren't trying to work in bars and restaurants anymore, or they were just content with, collecting unemployment, which I'm not content with. That's not something that I wanted to do, but I had to do it because during the time I couldn't work during COVID. Right. So that's the difference. But yeah, I definitely took on more responsibility, in which I'm happy to, because I already had those skill sets that were just being set aside.
Pete, there are two people who helped me tremendously. Let's leave Rob and Chang out of it. You are one of those people, and Kat is the other person. When they offered me an option to be manager, because, I did all this nightlife stuff at Orange Ball, and I'm going to be there anyway. And Chang is thinking, why not put him there? And that was cool. But you and Kat helped me out tremendously, because Pete, when Chang made me manager, I didn't even know how to punch in a steak and cheese on the damn cash register. I didn't know. How am I supposed to put in a vodka tonic? I don't know what I'm doing here. I knew how to check people out for pool, but that's all I knew how to do. You and Kat helped me, tremendously in terms of acclimating me to, all right, Kurtis, right now you're giving away drinks. Right now you're DJing. But now we have to put on this manager's hat. We got to count this drawer out, and we got to make sure everything balances out. I'll never forget. I think you were there. As a patron one night hanging out, and the internet and everything went down, and we had to do everything by hand. We had to pull out the little slips and the little machine and do all of that. That was probably 15 years ago. But thank you. I did not say thank you then. And the second thank you I want to give you is I texted you a week ago and said, let's do this podcast. You were like, I'm all in. So I appreciate you taking that call at such a short notice. let's talk sobriety, Pete. You and I haven't seen each other in quite some time. As I mentioned earlier, at some point you began a journey into sobriety. What did it do for you? What did that look like for you? Why did we take that step?
Well, the nightlife kind of like drags you into a certain spiral when it comes to drinking, which is not normal to, I want to say, like a normal person drinking. You know what I mean? Like people who go to happy hour, people like, that aren't in the industry and in nightlife and aren't like spending hours at a time at the bar involuntarily,
Right.
And throughout the years, like a lot of people, some people can be fine, but for me, drinking became part of my lifestyle.
Okay.
It was for a long time. And especially after I became a bartender, I was like, yeah, drinking's definitely my lifestyle. Like there's like no way I can give this up because I'm a bartender,
Right.
So I noticed a few years ago that, well, I didn't realize it, but at the time, realizing it now, a few years ago, I had a engagement that was broken up. I was engaged to a young lady, and that breakup didn't put me in a good spot.
Right. Okay.
After, not because of anything else, but at the end of the day, I felt like I was a failure.
Pete, I was there in 2001. I was there as well. Young lady, I thought this was it, right?
Yeah. But I just felt like I was a failure, like just to myself, to like my family, I guess her family. And I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to express it, and I didn't know how to cope.
Right.
So I noticed that my drinking pattern after the fact was getting pretty bad.
Okay.
And I would make an excuse to go out and drink. Before, like one of my favorite things to do before was like to go to the gym. And I used to plan my day around the gym. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Exception of work. But slowly but surely I started planning my day around drinking.
Okay.
And that pattern got pretty bad. Got me into some trouble, but at the end of the day, I had to reevaluate why I was drinking, and I wasn't drinking for fun anymore. I was drinking to cope. I was drinking if I was happy. I was drinking if I was sad. I was drinking if I was mad. I was drinking if I was frustrated or stressed out. I was drinking if I was content during, of the day. But the thing was, I didn't have to wake up and drink, just like during the day, my days off, or even at work, like, when the day would progress, and that's when I would start drinking. And the problem for me was not like the part that I couldn't stop, which was once I started, I was in it.
Okay.
If I didn't start, I'd be all right. Like if I didn't start the whole day, there'd be no problem. But the moment I start, like, I was in it to win it.
Okay.
Any prize you wanted to give me for drinking, like I was in it for it. So as time went on and the drinking got heavier and more often, I did suffer, a couple of concussions when I was younger.
Okay.
Through sports, and other things. But I noticed that my blackouts came more often, meaning like I didn't have to get like, plastered to get blacked out. I would black out like in the middle of having like just 3 or 4 drinks,
Okay.
3 or 4 drinks for some people was a lot, but to me, that was nothing, For me, a night of drinking would be like 12, 16 drinks, Okay. So that kind of scared me for a little bit. And like before I actually quit drinking, I was contemplating that about like, slowing down or quitting, because like I felt like my health was getting kind of endangered. And then I got in trouble one more time, And so that made me reevaluate my priorities, like what's most important in my life right now.
Okay.
Right. And everything in my life, like family, friends, work, everything that was important in my life, being able to drive my motorcycle, like everything that I needed in life came before drinking.
Right.
And when I reevaluated, drinking was dead last. But drinking was the root of my problems. None of the other things were the root of my problems. So drinking was. So I was able to say, hey, I got to quit drinking. I can cut that out.
Wow. All right. I want to wait till the end to say this, but I'm gonna say it now. I have told you this before, I hope, and if I haven't, we got it on record, so you can't say I never told you this. You are literally, if I had a list of 5, you're one of the top 5 most genuine people I have ever met. You really are. You really are. And you're telling this story right here, but I've always known that about you. You're a genuine person. You have empathy. You know, as a security guard, I never saw you like way up here. It was, Pete handles things.
Pretty even keel with everything.
Absolutely, you are. Pete, I know you count the days, but more importantly, you make every day count. How many days of sobriety are we talking now?
Right now, we're at 340 days.
340 days.
So my sobriety date is November 22nd. So next month will be my 2-year anniversary.
All right. So Steve, I'm calling you Steve. Pete, you are making every day count. I found out about this sobriety journey over Facebook because you've made it public. And how has the support been from, forget your inner circle, because your inner circle is going to be, look, you, Eddie, Juan, and Joey, you guys are thick as thieves. You guys have always been that crew. I'm sure there are other names, but I know your boys have been with you. I've seen photos at weddings, and I've seen you guys all hanging out with each other. You guys are thick. And you know what? I mean, those friends are the family that you chose, right? I mean, you're born into a family, but you chose them, and they've been with you. Again, I started OB. I don't even know what year it was, but it's the better part of 20 years ago, and they were with you then. But how has public acceptance been and support been of you on this journey?
Like I can say some people were surprised, and then some people could see it coming. But the overall public perception, especially like being candid about it on Facebook, is that the perception is great. Like everyone is like happy, proud, or whatever you want to say. But everyone seems very supportive. And like when I post up sober posts, like those are like probably the number 1 likes I get like during that week. You know, I get a pretty good amount of likes on things, but those sober posts, like, I'm not putting it up there for the likes.
No.
Obviously. But those tend to be like my more popular posts is my sober posts, especially when I post up like an anniversary, a month anniversary or whatever it is. Like I'm at like, 18
but the
months.
thing is, Pete, they're supporting you because your success is our success. And that's when it's genuine. Your friends are going to support that. I mean, we're going to support a post of you and your dog and it's a cute picture, sure. Yeah. But you're doing something for you that's making a change permanently in you. And someone else is seeing that story. You wake up every day, Pete, you don't know who needs to see that, right? You don't know who you've inspired by doing that. You wake up and you're like, damn, I'm doing this again another day, or whatever it might be in your life, not even you, but anyone, but someone might take that as inspiration. And we have, podcasts live infinitely. So we got viewers, and I'm surprised that, I found out the other day, one of my podcasts is top 5% on this platform and blah, blah, blah. That's all great. There are people you do not know, and I do not know, who are watching and listening. What are you saying to those people who are thinking about it, who have reached a point where they need to think about it, who are in it, and it's tough for them? How do you keep going on? What do you tell them?
So I want to circle back on your comment about inspiration, is that I do post it up for that, because like you said, someone might want to see it, or someone might need to see it. And I'm just trying to tell them that it's possible.
Right.
So, but answering your question, I definitely want to tell them that it's not easy, you know,
Okay.
and anything that's important in life and that you want in life doesn't come easy.
Right.
You know, if it's easy, then everyone would be a millionaire. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, but to me, this is not about money. This is about like your quality of life. This is about your mental health. This is about uh, sustaining and keeping your relationships, whether it be your family or romantic. Um, this is about your life at the end of the day. It's life. And I'm blessed to be able to sit here and talk to you still,
Okay.
because there are plenty of times where I, made the mistake of keeping my keys and getting behind the wheel.
Right.
You know, it's a blessing, that I haven't hurt anybody or hurt myself. I've hurt my pockets, but
Right.
I haven't hurt myself. Um, there's plenty of blessings to count. When I got sober, like all those blessings that I never like really like noticed or like counted before, they became more prominent.
They count a little bit more, don't they?
It popped up for some reason. Like,
Right.
well, like you've gotten like 3 or 4 motorcycle accidents and you're okay. You got hit by a van on your last one and you're okay. Those are all blessings, man. Like, and you can't call it, like, I can't explain what they are. Some people call it God, and
Right.
if you want to call it God and you're comfortable with that, then you can call it God. But they're blessings to me, man. And I'm blessed to be able to sit here and talk to you. I'm blessed to have Stacy in my life. I'm blessed to have my dog, because if I wasn't sober, I don't think I could take care of another animal or human
Right.
being or whatever.
Right.
Sobriety helps with that, and you can think clearer. You can generally make the right decision like 95% of the time. We're not perfect.
Right.
We're going to think we made the right decision, but it's going to be wrong sometimes. It's okay. But because I don't have any mind altering substance in my body, that I know that I won't regret that decision, because it was my decision. It wasn't alcohol or substance induced.
Pete, you say that these are blessings. You say that you made it through this for a reason, but I would say, well, in conjunction with that, I would say your purpose here is not done. Your purpose is not done, right?
Yeah.
So you have so much more to fulfill, Pete. You're in your 30s, I think. I don't know how old you are, but you got.
I turned 40. I turned 40 in December.
You were about to?
Yeah, in December.
Oh, you old, Pete. You're about to be old, Pete. One of our friends is turning 40 actually today. Andrea's 40.
Oh yeah.
Today. Yes,
Joey turned 40. Joey turned 40 earlier this year.
Okay.
Lon also turned 40 earlier this year.
So you're the young one. You're the young one.
I'm the last of the 81s.
All right. So is that Eddie? He turned 40 also?
No, Eddie is a little younger. He still has some time. I think he's got like 3 or 4 more years. Maybe
he's
4
August 1st. I know that because him and Paula have the same birthday.
Yeah.
But Pete, your work is not done. That's the thing. So you're going to turn 40. You got 40, 50 more years to live to impress upon someone. And we're going to talk about 2 certain someones that you're a leader for. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
But your work is not done, Pete. He's not done with you. He's not done with you. He's telling you have to stay here, because if you believe in something else, if you believe in God, and I don't get all religious or whatever, but when you get called to his kingdom, he's got work for you there, but your work here is not done. You got to earn that one. You got to earn going to be with him. So your work is still here, and we don't know what that work looks like. The work might look right now, Pete, we're going to put this podcast out next week. Someone might be, their lifestyle might be saved because of what they're seeing from you today. So I thank you for coming to this forum and all of that. I realized though, I don't know you before the Orange Ball story. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to high school? I don't even know any of this.
So my parents came over in 1982 from Vietnam. Mm-hmm. And I guess we like directly moved to like the, like exactly, I think it was Greenbelt area.
Okay.
The Greenbelt, like near the Silver Spring Greenbelt area. where my aunt lived at the time, and then we started moving up the pike pretty much,
Okay.
like from you know, Rockville to Gaithersburg to Germantown. So we stayed at Germantown for 14 years. I graduated high school in 1999 at Watkinsville High School.
Watkinsville. So, wait a minute. So that means you do know Alan Rudnick.
Yeah, he was in my
That's my
class.
boy.
We talked about that a few times already.
Okay, yeah, that's my boy. You know, he's moved way up the chain in the churches. He's got his own
I'm
church.
sure.
He just got moved to another church. He's written a book. He's got his PhD. I mean, he's doing some things. I did
Yeah.
not realize that. So you're with that crew. So what about Adam Ringold? Do you remember
Yep,
him?
that's my buddy too.
Both of them worked with me.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
Oh,
the
they
girl
worked
who
with you back in the day.
Yeah, the young lady who broke my heart back in '01, she
Yeah.
introduced me to her friend Amy, who's Adam's sister. And
Yeah.
both of them worked for me as roadies and DJs back
Gotcha.
in 98, 99, 2000, back in there.
But like the end of high school for us. pretty
Right,
much.
right. End of high school. And I think Rudnick came back. I saw him play lacrosse in college, and he worked for me or with me. I don't like to say people worked for me, but they worked with
Right.
me. Some summers he came back from college. Pete, that means I may have done some of your homecomings. Your homecomings were in the cafeteria down
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I might have DJed some of your homecomings because I
Yeah.
did.
My
DJ
parents
at
didn't let me go to the homecomings, so I think I
Oh,
went
man.
to one of them. I went to one of them my junior year.
I might have been the DJ there, Pete. That's
Yeah.
where we first met. That could be
Yeah.
where we first met.
Yeah.
Watkins Mill. How about that? So you have another role that I told you we would talk about. Let's talk about it now. So we got bartender, we've got son, we've got brother, we've got friend, we've got bar manager, we've got inspiration, but you've got another title that you haven't touted yet, and that is you are a two-time member of the Uncles Club. So how has that been being a male role model in the family for your niece and nephew?
Well, that was one of my inspirations to quit drinking.
Okay.
So there's multiple factors, and my family is very important to me. And being able to be in my niece and nephew's lives in a positive way was one of the motivations for me to just call it quits, because I didn't want to show up to family functions being drunk or inebriated or drinking at family functions and getting to the point where like my niece and nephew would see me in a certain type of way. And I want them to ever see that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So-
Well, Vu has done it. He has a beautiful family. Before I want to hear more about this, but 35 years I've been in the business. I've never met anyone as talented behind a camera as your brother. He is sick with it.
He did it quick too.
Right? It was based on a vacation he took, right?
Right. So the inspiration came from his own wedding.
Right.
So he had a videographer for his wedding, and he loved the video. And then so he started messing with cameras and stuff like that. And they went on a trip, and he started did videos on the trip. And I guess it just came naturally to him because when I'm still into art now. I still draw and everything. And I went to college for art. I have an art degree. And my brother wanted to pursue kind of similarly the same thing, but he ended up not finishing with an art degree. He transferred to UM and got an econ degree.
Right.
But art has always been the fabric in our family, and he just found another way to
Well, he got
I
there,
guess.
right? To get there.
He just found out another, I'm into visual, but illustration and portraits and drawing and stuff like that. He used to be into that too, but he found a different way to project his artwork, and he found it in video. And we never knew that when he was younger. We had one video camera, and he didn't really do much with it, but in a short period of time, he's made a full business out of it. And I'm
He did the same thing you did. You moved out of IT. He moved out of what he was doing full time, because I feel like there was a point where the video business and getting into that, became more of a passion for him than what his full time was. And both of you moved out of the old space, got into the new space. But I'm going to tell you, you guys have got to Google Nvu. It's the letter N, VU Films. He's going to come up everywhere. He's got great reviews. I'm disappointed because the last two times I wanted to refer him, he's already booked. I mean, he's that popular. He really is.
He gets
Your
booked
brother
really
is
quick.
sick.
A year
He
out,
is
2 years
sick.
out.
Yeah. And he's referred me to some great clients, but Invu Films, you guys got to check it out. I think he has a second or third shooter now because the business has grown. And without giving away too many secrets, I mean, he's gone from charging one price to the popularity just keeps moving him up the chain.
He has to.
And I've seen a ton of videographers. A lot of them are great. Most of them are great. But, I have this friend of mine who's a photographer. His name is Ken Pack. And there are a lot of great photographers, but Ken is he's head and shoulders above everyone. And your brother is the same with video. He's head and shoulder. Like, I recommend Vu, and then there's everyone else, because Vu is the top of his game. They better get with your brother. If you want any sort of video, I feel like weddings are what he really, really shines at. You better go find Invu Films, because if you want him,
he's got to figure it out. He found a formula and he figured it out. Yeah.
So look, we cannot continue this conversation or even end it without talking bikes. You're a Harley guy, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me about
I was
bikes,
a bike guy. I'm just a motorcycle guy, period. The
Right.
Harley thing came recently.
Well, that means you've achieved a certain status, because at least for the non-bikers, I think when you get a Harley, you have arrived. But tell me about the bike life.
So I guess when people think about like a cruiser bike, like anything that's not a sport bike, they think of Harleys. Harley's the first thing they think of. So just from the name standpoint, Harley has it above everybody else.
Right.
So I started out a sport bike rider, like most of us youngins. But I always respected the motorcycle. Never did anything stupid on it. Never did anything that you see on YouTube or the videos that you see online nowadays of like all the kids blocking roads and stuff like that.
Right.
That's not anything that we did. We rode to enjoy ourselves and be safe and have fun. You know what I mean? Nowadays, for me, it's a way. It's a therapeutic thing for me.
Okay.
I ride. Obviously, I ride for fun. Stacy likes to go riding with me, so we go ride together.
She has a bike, or
what's that?
She has a bike?
No. She rides with me.
Okay.
She rides with that. But she enjoys the ride, and we had a couple rides to the beach this year already. It's therapeutic for me as well. I remember during COVID, there are days where, shit would kick in, like depression, whatever it may be, because like you're not doing anything, you're not working, you're just sitting at home. Riding on the motorcycle is therapy. It's just you and the machine and the environment around you.
Right.
No distractions. No cage. There's not like a car cage that you can
Right.
ride. You're definitely taking a risk every time you ride a motorcycle, but you take a risk walking across the street. So for me, I enjoy it. And the good thing about it is my friends enjoy it, so we can do it together. The bike life is something that is not for everybody. And there's some people that go to extreme where they ride their bike all year round. I like to ride my bike all the time. I don't ride it all year round because I don't like it when it's too cold.
But there's something about, like, when a warm day in February or March is coming up, I bet you dust off the bike, huh?
Oh, it's coming out. Coming out. If it's warm in January, February, for that one day, if it peaks over 55 degrees, I'm out there.
So are we talking, casual? Or are we talking bike week? We're talking, what is it for you?
For me, my motorcycle is just like anything else. It's my mode of transportation. You don't have to ask me if I rode today or like rode the day before, because if I could, I'd ride it just to go run errands.
Okay. All right.
Or I'd ride it to pick up groceries.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just short rides, I even take it out, Doesn't have to be a long ride.
Well, you keep it clean too. I've seen it. You keep it clean, Pete.
Yeah, I try, man. I didn't have a garage before, and I had it under a cover.
Mm-hmm.
But it tend to get dirty a lot more often. But I recently moved up to Frederick, and now I have a garage.
So. Oh, you keep that bad baby garage, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be in the garage. We moved last week, so I haven't been able to bring it back up here yet. But
Okay. So now what else do you drive besides the bike?
I have a truck.
Your brother got a truck though. I seen your brother's truck
He
online.
just bought a brand new 2022 Nissan Frontier. I had bought a 2012 Tundra Crew Max February of 2020, like right before COVID.
Okay, all right.
Which sucked because I got, I didn't have a car payment at the time, and then I had a car payment, and then COVID. Well, I had a motorcycle payment,
Right.
but I had a car payment. I didn't have a car payment, and then I bought it, and then COVID hit, and then all of a sudden I had a car payment, and then COVID, and I couldn't work.
Right.
So I had to ask the bank, which I just got the loan for, to defer my payments for like two or 3 months, which they didn't mind doing.
Well, good. No. A lot of us got a lot of help during that time. Banks were, they were very understanding. So you just bought a home. Your brother bought a home not too far, and he's learning
renting. I haven't bought.
Oh, okay. Your brother's learning a whole lot about keeping the grounds, making sure that he mows the lawn and
back in the day when we were living with our parents, he wasn't like the most like diligent when it came to helping my dad out around the house. Okay. Meaning mowing the lawn, helping putting things together. That was more me,
Pete, am I uncovering some old wounds? I'm sorry, Pete.
No, there are no wounds. He had to learn the hard way because when he started owning his own house, and then he has to mow the lawn, do all this himself. Now he knows,
right, he's gonna pick up mulch and do all that stuff, right?
Yeah, well, he just has to get acclimated, where I'm more used to doing that stuff.
All right. Pete, this has been a good conversation. I'm glad you said yes to this. I'm most happy that the Pete that I knew for the last 20 years has not changed. He's genuine. He wants to help people. He's in the service industry. He rides that bike and it's therapeutic. I'll take all that back to say I'm most happy that you found a place where you can cope, you can get support, and on that bike, that's that therapy for you. That's that therapy for you. And I love
you gotta find your own therapy sometimes, man. It's like there's a lot of people who are searching for other people to give them therapy, like a therapist, which makes sense to me. That all day, like if you need that, do that. But at the same time, at the same token, you're not going to have that therapist with you 24/7. You need to find your own therapy. Right. You got to find what you like and what you love, and just embrace it.
I love it. I can't let you get away. How does everyone connect with you in Quincy's? We want them to come see you at Quincy's. We want them to support Quincy's. We're still trying to make it back from a pandemic where, the pre-COVID numbers aren't what, we're not back to that yet, where we're, where the bar is full all the time. But how can they find you?
They can find me on Facebook. They can find me on Instagram. They can find me at Quincy's.
Which Quincy's location?
I'm at Quincy's in Gaithersburg, which is the original Quincy's. And that's
is there one off the Pike?
No, it's the one off of Quince Orchard Road and Clopper.
But I mean, there is one off the Pike, right?
Yeah, that's Quincy South. That was the second one.
I've seen that one. Okay, I passed it a million times. Like, is that the one where Pete is? So you're up on QO and where?
Clopper.
All right, we're going to come see you, Pete.
We're up there in Gaithersburg.
When you working this weekend?
We're working Friday and Saturday. Saturday, we have a Halloween party.
All right, I'm not coming for that. Pete, I'm telling you right now, today is October 28th. What time are you going to be there tomorrow? Me and Paul are coming to see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow is, what day is tomorrow? Friday?
Yep.
I should be there around 4:30.
We're coming to see you tomorrow. And my next question is, can I bring the kids or should I not bring the kids?
You can bring the kids. We have a lounge area that they can sit at. Absolutely.
I'm going to come see you tomorrow, Pete. We have nothing to do because one of the gigs we were going to do, they called it for rain. They postponed it. We have nothing to do. We're coming to see you tomorrow night, Pete. That's what we're going to do. Pete, I'm going to put you backstage for a minute and I'm going to close out the show and then we're going to talk in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, I need y'all to understand how important this interview was. Pete, thanks for doing it. I'm going to see you backstage in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen,
no problem.
Peter
My pleasure.
Nguyen. Thanks, Pete. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's episode of Conversations with Kurtis. Be sure to connect with me socially at Kurtis Talks on IG and Twitter. And the website, of course, is www.kurtistalks.com. You can also email me with podcast ideas. And if you'd like to be a guest or know of someone who should join the conversation, just send an email to Kurtis and Paula. That's Kurtis with a K at gmail.com. Don't forget to check out our podcast family, The Kurtis and Paula Show, Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill. And of course, the Midnight Truck Stop at 911 Radio, hosted by Big Tony and the Blue Knight. You'll find our family of podcasts just about anywhere you get your podcast content. You'll find it on Instagram. You'll find us on Twitter. You'll find us on Facebook. You'll find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, the whole 9 yards, wherever you get your podcast content, and of course, YouTube. Thanks for joining the conversation today. Feel free to spread the word. And as always, thank you, Khadijah. We'll see you next time.
Crosstalk, Conversations with Kurtis can be heard on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Music, and just about anywhere podcasts can be found.
From Washington, D.C. to Ocean City, Woodbridge to Columbia, Richmond to Virginia Beach, the hottest DJs are right here. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Dynamic DJ Entertainment, the most experienced professional DJ service in the DMV. For 35 years, our DJ talent has been the energy behind more than 14,000 events. If you're planning your wedding, school dance, corporate event, Sweet 16, or any event, our talented team has the right mix of music and MC skills to bring the energy and turn any event into an epic event. In 35 years, our DJs have performed in front of more than 2 million guests in 26 states. Our services include dynamic DJ talent, karaoke, giant games, atmospheric effects, movie nights, and more. Contact us today and let's make your next event an epic event. Dynamic DJ Entertainment. Visit thepartybeginsnow.com or call 301-942-4500 to get the party started.